arrogance of the Americans, the bulliness of the Americans. Let me even throw it on the West side. America right now comes to Tanzania, comes to Ghana, comes to Zambia with 16 million. And guess what? 16 million only for Zambia. The 16 million, ask me, what is it for?
What is it for?
For human rights. Across the river, China and Russia coming to South Africa. Ask me for what?
For what?
For a military training and skills sharing of security. So the Americans are more interested in a transgender, homosexual agenda around the world. They will invest their money and give you money to protect human rights. Russia and China are coming with weapons and militarization strategies so that we can protect ourselves. So I want to say this very loud and clear to the Americans. Continue on your transgender agenda. Stay there.
All right, guys. So if you take a look at this headline right here about the leaked documents that I haven't really talked about that much, the leaked Pentagon documents that exposes all types of dirty secrets that we have in regards to what's going on with Ukraine and some other things going on around the world. Those documents revealed that the Biden administration is concerned about Russia and China's influence in Africa. Okay, and that's part of the reason why Kamala Harris went over to Africa. Is because we are losing our influence around the world, okay? People don't respect America the way that they used to respect America. We're not the top dog anymore. Russia and China are making moves, right? They're making moves, and the Biden administration is concerned about it, right? Now, that brings me to this video right here, this conversation right here that Mr. Joshua Maponga had about the approach between the Biden administration and Kamala Harris and China/Russia, and how Kamala came to Africa with $60 million, right, to promote LGBTQ, or in exchange for LGBTQ rights being promoted in Africa, versus China and Russia, who come to Africa with more useful things like military strategies, weapons, things like that. And I think this conversation right here that this guy has is very insightful, because it does tell you the difference between how we're trying to influence Africa, right, and trying to maintain control versus what Russia and China are doing. And it really goes to show you guys just how out of touch the current administration is, and why we are not more respected on the world stage versus how respected we were under Trump, right? So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this.
Arrogance of the Americans, the bulliness of the Americans. Let me even throw it on the West side. America right now comes to Tanzania, comes to Ghana, comes to Zambia with 16 million. And guess what? 16 million only for Zambia. The 16 million, ask me, what is it for?
What is it for?
For human rights. Across the river, China and Russia coming to South Africa. Ask me for what?
For what?
For a military training and skills sharing of security.
Some useful stuff, right? Something useful, right? Again, the difference here is just, it's astonishing. And honestly, as an American, I'm actually embarrassed, right? I'm actually really embarrassed that this is how our officials are conducting foreign policy, okay? When we're trying to compete with Russia and China.
So the Americans are more interested in a transgender, homosexual agenda around the world. They will invest their money and give you money to protect human rights. Russia and China are coming with weapons and militarization strategies so that we can protect ourselves. So I want to say this very loud and clear to the Americans. Continue on your transgender agenda. Stay there. Leave us to do politics on the other side.
Bruh. Yeah, I mean, he got a point. He got a point, bruh. He said, look, Russia and China are coming with things that are useful, things that are going to help us protect ourselves. You coming with nonsense, right? You coming with this ideology trying to make us accept something that we just don't really want to accept, right? We're not really about that. This is not useful to us. And if we continue to do this, is this the way we continue to operate? China and Russia, they're going to dominate Africa, right? They're going to dominate Africa. They're going to have much more influence over Africa than we will.
Because what we need right now is not a minority human rights activation. What we need is a societal transformation. And for you as Americans to think that we really envy that when you have an anti-lesbian, anti-gay, LGBT principle, then tourists would drop. Let me correct that once and for all, Smooth. And cut and clip this, and it must be loud and clear. Are you saying to me that all the tourists are gay?
How you say that all the tourists are gay? Bro, I love African accents, bro. This is so funny to me the way they talk. Are you saying that all the tourists are gay? Right? I mean, look, again, they preach the same things to us in here in America, bro. Right? They must think that all the young people are gay, okay? Because woke corporate America believes that the only way they can market to young people is through LGBTQ. So they believe that all the young people are gay. That is actually what they believe, right? That is what they believe.
And when you hear that this is a non-gay zone, tourism will suffer. Question number one. Question number two. Are you saying that we don't have a right to expressing ourselves as Africans? Question number three. If democracy means majority rules and majority votes against a principle, then why won't you allow that to become law?
Because they don't really believe in democracy, right? They don't really care about your democracy. They only care about democracy when it comes to them getting their way in what they want, right? But again, when it comes to them not getting their way, democracy goes out the window, right? When they don't get their way, they don't give a damn about democracy, okay? They don't give a damn about democracy. They're going to try their best to overthrow democracy, right? If they can't get their way, okay?
Are you saying the minority must manage the majority? Or the majority must manage the minority? Then if that whole ideology is wrong, then take democracy in a nice black dustbin bag and throw it outside. Because what you are telling us is by the people, for the people, with the people, and all those slogans you hear, what democracy represents. If we are 10 in the room and 9 people say no, and one person says yes, democracy says you go with the majority. So if we say we want to make Africa democratic, and the demographics of our democracy says no, then why do you philosophically want to manipulate the will of the majority to favor the will of the minority?
Because they don't believe in democracy, bruh. Democracy is a talking point. It's just a talking point for the Democrats. Okay? What they actually really believe in is their agenda, right? And you have to go along with their agenda, or else you are a threat to democracy, even though they don't actually really believe in democracy, right? They don't really care that majority of this society does not agree with the LGBTQ agenda. They don't give a damn about that. You must get on board with the woke agenda, right? Or else you're bigoted. We're not going to give you money. We may actually, I don't know, maybe declare some type of war on you, might overthrow your government, right? Yeah, the will of the people be damned, okay? If the will of the people is against the Democrat agenda.
Then this is where it really gets confusing to me. Because you're selling me one thing on one. I understand this democracy because it is based on the principle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When it comes to practice, no, you can't practice it like that. Then what do you want?
The hypocrisy of the Democrats. Even the Africans can see it, right? Even the Africans can see it.
Do you want democracy? You want anarchy? You want indigenous governance systems?
No, they want woke supremacy, bro. They want Democrat Party supremacy. That's that's what they actually really want. Okay, they want authoritarianism. Okay,
you want meritocracy? Maybe let's find another way of governing ourselves. But the ideology of democracy being founded on majority rule does not count, because the rule that runs the South African Constitution right now is not majority count.
Yeah, I mean, I think dude got a point, right? I think he got a point in the sense that you would never see Kamala or Biden go to Saudi Arabia or Jordan or go to the Emirates or Kuwait or any of these other, places where homosexuality is literally like, punishable by death. Okay, they stone you for that. They're never going to go over there and be like, nah, y'all can't do this no more, right? Y'all can't do this no more, or, we're going to try to bully you in some way financially. They don't do that, right? They don't go to the Arabs with this same nonsense that they do with African folks, right? And it's crazy because, again, the difference between how Russia and China is approaching this, or trying to influence Africa, take advantage of their resources, what they do, right? Is starkly different than the United States. And this is why I think that ultimately we're going to lose out on this race, right? We're going to lose out because we're not taking the same approach or the right approach. We're taking a woke approach. We're trying to export LGBTQ instead of trying to export, what China and Russia are doing, which are exporting useful things, providing useful services and value to these countries to get them on our side. Again, it's just amazing how that works. And African folks are fed up with it. Again, this is not the first video I've done on some leader or some author or some influencer in Africa being pissed off about the Biden administration coming over here and trying to push their woke agenda on them when they're like, nah, we're not about that, right? We're not really cool with this, okay? We're not really down with this. But again, there's international pressure for them to sign up for something they don't really want to sign up for, okay? And then these same people want to scream about democracy, how much they love democracy, how much they want these countries to be democratic. But then when the democratic process says that, hey, we don't want this type of lifestyle, we don't want alternative lifestyles in our country, all of a sudden, these people don't believe in democracy anymore, right? Democracy goes out the window. It's just amazing how that works. Again, I'm embarrassed, right? I am embarrassed to be an American, considering that these are the things we're doing on the world stage here. Again, it really is, just a terrible time right now to be an American with these clowns in charge. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.